Archie Robert!
Late Baines with a moment of magic.
It's a fantastic finish for the Duke.
It's in. It's Ben Watson. They've surely won the FA Cup.
You must be stuck up in the dream. It's like adding gasoline to the fire. Get me started like.
Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here and today it is time for me to bring you the start of a new series. Hello and welcome to the Wigan Athletic Road to Glory. Now you guys went absolutely ham on the Choose My series, over 400 votes in the straw poll and over 100 comments, but in the end the top comment was Wigan, and I think the most amount of comments were Wigan as well in terms of what team to use. Now obviously this is a completely different type of series to Leicester. It's not going to replace that series, it's going to run alongside it. You can see me just setting up the career mode in the background. Obviously it's a road to glory instead of just being a Premier League type of thing. And I'm also going to try and change up the format a little bit. There'll be more simmed games in this series because we've obviously got to get through it slightly quicker because we're starting off in a lower division. And there'll also be sort of cutscenes to other games as well. I'll explain that a little bit better at the end of the episode, but there will be sort of cutscenes to other games that we're not actually involved in, a bit like my finales in Leicester career mode, but sort of implemented into every episode. But if there's anything else you guys want me to change, do drop that in the comment section below because I'm open to absolutely anything in terms of changing the format and the style of this series in comparison to Leicester. In the meantime, in the background, we're now choosing our pre-season tournament. And we went for the one in the middle, which was the European Continental Shield, which was the Austrian competition. It had the middle amounts of prize money available, and it seemed like it had some fairly easier teams involved. Some sort of lower division French teams, Austrian teams. Our objective for the season, and for the first season of this Road to Glory, it's fairly difficult, as you would expect for a team like Wigan. We're being challenged to win the league and to get to the round of 32 in the Domestic Cup. And also we're being told by our assistant manager we should be looking at a central midfielder now. Unless you're a Wigan fan, you're probably not going to know the Wigan squad too well. You can see the starting 11 in the background. You may notice a few names that you've heard of before, especially Jussi Jääskeläinen, who used to play for Bolton in the Premier League, but some very good players actually in this squad, some fairly young players. Emir Hughes is actually out on loan, but he looks as if he's got quite a good potential. There's also players like Max Powell, Wildschut and Grigg up front as well. Makaleni seems okay too. Haris Vucic as well. You can see the squad though in the background. Reece James as well, 68 overall and 21 years of age. So Wigan do have a fairly decent squad. It can be improved, but they have got a pretty decent squad, it has to be said. 170 overall player, no one better than that, and that's Leon Barnett, who's a centre-back. Actually, in general, this squad does have quite a few decent defenders, actually. Some younger players as well, like the players you're seeing at the moment there, Adam Anson, Robles, Flores and Hendry, who will probably be loaned out, and we'll see in a moment as well, some of the players that I'm thinking of selling in this first season. I sort of asked on Twitter as well, as a few of my friends who are Wigan fans, just to see which players I shouldn't be selling, who are the fan favourites, you know. And they told me, and hopefully that is the same for any Wigan fans that may be watching. You can see in the background that I'm thinking of selling McCann, Garcia, Wabara, Andrew Taylor and Billy Mackay. Now Mackay and Taylor were actually out on loan, but I decided to bring them back from their loan for a cost of almost 200k, and then I'll sell them. But they're combined, they're worth a decent amount, so that shouldn't be too bad. You can see in the background as well, there are the targets we're looking at: strikers, central mids, wingers, fullbacks, and also some players who are going to have their contracts expiring at the end of the season, and also some free kick specialists. In terms of the players whose contracts are expiring, we're looking at those guys just looking ahead towards January, where we'll be able to make some pre-contract agreement signings. Nevertheless, we're loaning out Kevin McNaughton, I think it is, and Louis Robles as well. Louis Robles, who's quite a young player, and McNaughton, who's someone I want to sell but had just recently signed for the team. So we're deciding to get him off the wage books because he's got quite high wages and he's quite old as well. We're also selling Andrew Taylor here for 400k to Nottingham Forest, but don't worry, we're not going to sell the entire squad for a start. And we're not just going to be selling players throughout this transfer window. We are looking at potentially bringing in 5 or 6 players, whether that be on loan or permanently as well. So we'll be looking at wingers in a little bit, but for now we're going to go through the first 2 games of our pre-season tournament. The first of which is against Setúbal, which I think is a Portuguese team. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna have to get used to new players and new teams during this career mode, because obviously we're going to not be, spending too much money trying to get Wigan back to former glory. Obviously it will be difficult, like the intro explained, but we'll be hoping to do that. But obviously not with the greatest of budgets. We do only have £3.5 million, and unfortunately we've lost the first pre-season game against Setúbal 2-0, and Morsi, our defensive midfielder, actually got sent off. I think he got sent off in real life recently as well. Nevertheless, into the second pre-season game, we're playing Sturm Graz of Austria, and despite losing the lead early on, Grieg, our striker, our centre forward, did equalise just 2 minutes later, and at half-time it was 1-1. We do, however, need to win this game in order to stay in this competition, really, and Haris Vucic, who's on loan from Newcastle, the youngster from Slovenia, I think he's from, does actually win us the game. So we win 2-1. It says it's an away game, but it's not. We win the game 2-1 there. But after a loss and a win in our first 2 games as manager outright, but obviously they're not competitive games, we're now going to move into some transfer targets, and we're looking at wingers firstly, and making some inquiries for just a crap ton of wingers, including Adig Benro of Viking in the Norwegian League, Mikkel Duland of FC Midtjylland in the Danish League, they want 1.4 million, Vitesse Arnhem want £1 million for Isaiah Brown, and Odd of Norway, they actually technically said Rafik Zeknini wasn't available, but actually I'm fairly sure he is. Kemar Roof, who's the top scorer in League 2 in real life. Oxford, however, were not wanting to sell him. Same story for Liverpool. They didn't want to sell their youngster Ryan Kent. Oyul Chan from Kayserispor, I can't pronounce his second name, they were unwilling to sell him as well. And David Atanga of Red Bull Salzburg, they wanted 500k. Now, all the players involved in this episode in terms of inquiries and players that we actually make bids for, their FIFA profiles will be in the description, because I realise a lot of you may not know who some of these players are, but I've tried to scout some of them, and we're making bids first of all for Isaiah Brown, Mikkel Duland, Adig Benro, and also Rafik Zeknini. And all the first bids that we made were rejected. So for Duland, we're offering 600k. Plus Mackay, plus Mackay, Billy Mackay, who's someone who's for sale. He's actually a striker who was on loan at Dundee United, but we recalled him from his loan in order to sell him. We're offering £1 million plus Mackay for Adig Benro, who's a 69 overall 19-year-old. He'd already be basically the best attacking player, and fairly young as well, and then offering 500k for Rafik Zeknini of Odd. So very much Scandinavian feel to our recruitment strategy at the moment. We'll be looking for players in other countries as well later on in the episode, especially in England. But first of all, offering £1.3 million now plus Mackay for Adig Benro, because Viking was still not accepting our transfer offer, and also raising the bid to 675k for Rafik Zeknini, which Odd, I'm going to have to get used to saying that name. It just doesn't really make much sense to it. Anyway, Odd decided to accept that offer. We also had a bid of 600k plus Billy Mackay accepted for Mikkel Duran, the 67 overall 18-year-old winger, and also a £1.3 million plus Billy Mackay bid accepted by Viking. However, Vitesse of the Eredivisie were not so keen on selling Isaiah Brown. We may look at him after today's episode, but for now he seems to be out of it, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. Now moving on to contract talks for Rafik Zeknini and also Adig Benro, and then Mikkel Duland of Midtjylland afterwards, offering £1,350 per week for the 17-year-old Zeknini. We're going to be offering 7k for Adig Benro. It's certainly breaking the bank, though we do have quite a bit in terms of wages now that we've sold and loaned quite a few players right at the start of the episode, so that's something, I suppose. But £1.3 million is already almost half of our transfer budget. So the much more affordable option would perhaps be this guy, Mikkel Dulan, 600k plus Billy Mackay, and only 2.3k per week in wages, 4-year contract length, and crucial first team player. However, we're going to be now moving on from that, because I feel as if we need a defender who can sort of back up everyone, someone who can just fill a gap. Someone who can play as a fullback but also play as a centre-back. We may also buy a young centre-back for the future, but for now we're just thinking of loaning in someone fairly low wages who can just do the job, maybe not play every game, but certainly will be in and around the squad and also just there to fill gaps, and that guy is Cameron Borthwick-Jackson from Manchester United, who we are loaning in. He's a left-back that can also play at centre-back, 67 overall and 19 years of age. No future fee agreed on that one, unfortunately. But yeah, a very decent, I suppose, first loan signing, I suppose you could say. So yeah, Cameron Borthwick-Jackson of Manchester United has been loaned in, basically to plug any gaps that we may get, because we will need depth in the squad. We're going to need depth in the squad because we're playing so many games. There's 46 games in a Football League calendar season, plus cup games in the Johnston Paint Trophy, the Capital One Cup, and the FA Cup. So we're going to need a lot of depth. So we're making our first signing there, Borthwick-Jackson. We are, however, loaning out 2 youngsters there, Jordan Flores and also Adam Anson. So we've signed a utility defender on loan, and we've loaned out some of our young players and also sold one as well in order to get some money in order to buy some more young and cheap players. However, it is time to get back into a game, or a simmed game anyway, and going into this one, we have to get something out of the game and hope that Vitória Setúbal actually lose. But as you can see, we're drawing 0-0 going into the final 15 minutes, and Setúbal are winning against Sturm Graz, and unfortunately the game does end like that. In our final pre-season friendly game of the group stage, we needed basically to beat Rapid Vienna and hope that Setúbal didn't beat Sturm Graz. We just basically need to better their result, and unfortunately they bettered ours. So we're out of the pre-season tournament. We did get some prize money, 500k for our achievements, and that is pretty good for a club of our status at the moment. 500k will go quite a long way. Nevertheless, in the background, you're now seeing me getting some scouts in and also sending them out to scout in various countries. Scott Brown, a Scottish 2-star, 3-star scout, is going to England, and Adan Romero of Spain is going to Sweden. The 3-star scout, he's going out to Scandinavia to continue our Scandinavian recruitment sort of theory. Nevertheless, in continuation of that, we've got a decision for you guys to make, basically, and it's a fairly simple one. Who should we buy? In the background, you're seeing the players that we've agreed deals for, being Samuel Adegbenro and Mikael Dooland. We have agreed a deal for Rafik Zeknini, but he hasn't actually technically accepted the contract offer yet. But that is basically done. You can see in the background, Adegbenro, 69 overall and 19 years of age, but the most expensive. Mikael Dooland, 67 overall, 18 years of age, but the least expensive. And also Zeknini, who is, I think, 700-ish K, something like that. But he is the youngest and also only 63 overall. So in the description, there will be a straw poll deciding who should be bought. And at the start of next episode, we will be welcoming one of these players into the squad, or perhaps Isaiah Brown as well, who we were looking at from Vitesse Arnhem. If you want me to sign him, although a deal is not secured for him as of yet, then drop that on the straw poll as well. There'll be 4 players to choose from: Adegbenro, Dooland, Zeknini, or Isaiah Brown. Decide and choose carefully. Nevertheless, I suppose that pretty much brings an end to this first episode of our Wigan Athletic Road to Glory. If you have enjoyed it, feel free to smash the likes button. 100 likes would be massively appreciated on this first episode of the series. Don't forget to give me some ideas for what you would like me to change in this series as well, in terms of format, or whether you want me to keep it similar to Leicester Career Mode. If you want me to change the format, however that be, whether that be editing, or obviously I'm going to be simming games, and there's going to be a few other changes that I'm personally going to implement as well. Obviously, it's a different type of career mode to Leicester for a start, and I'm also going to be simming a few games, and I'm also going to be showing some cutscenes from other games as well that are slightly relevant to us. So if we're playing a team that won a game in the 90th minute beforehand, I'll show a clip of that team winning in the 90th minute before we go into the game with them. But if there's anything else you want me to change, drop it in the comment section below, whether that be having a player of the episode or a goal of the month competition or anything like that. Everything basically except for Facecam and Livecom. Livecom I really don't want to do for this series, in all honesty, and Facecam, I can't actually do it for a series at the moment, but hopefully for the next FIFA I'll be able to do that. But nevertheless, it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Let's hope that for this new series, I hope you guys are excited for it as well. Drop it in the comment section if you are, because I'm massively excited for it. Let's hope that one of the 11 players, or multiple of the 11 players in the background, can become legends throughout this entire series, or perhaps some of our new signings as well. It's been a pleasure ranting at you guys though today. Have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
No, that's not me. Act like a waste man, that's not